Welcome to our September Maryland Commission on LGBTQI plus affairs meeting. We're very, very grateful to be able to hold this meeting and to have this space to connect. Go ahead and move to our next slide. So we have a few pieces of housekeeping. Welcome to any members of the public. The Maryland Open Meetings Act allows members of the public to observe commission meetings. Please do keep your microphones muted and video off for the duration of the meeting. Do not use the chat or disrupt the meeting in any way. Commissioners and staff, please keep your microphones muted when not speaking. We ask folks to raise their hands physically or by using the raise hand feature in order to be called upon. We also have a meeting norm of addressing people by commissioner and their last name, or chair, vice chair, and their last name. We ask individuals to include your pronouns after your name on Zoom, so we might respectfully refer to you. ASL and CART live captioning are available upon request and would be provided by the Office on Deaf and Hard of Hearing. Please connect to our director, Jeremy Browning, at least 1 week prior to any meetings for any accommodation requests. And that email address for Director Browning is jeremy.browning@maryland.gov. And for how to update name and add pronouns in Zoom, you would click on participants located on your bottom toolbar if you're on the computer. Find your name on the participants list and hover over your name and click on more and then select rename. You would update your name and your pronouns and then select rename to save that and verify that the change occurred in the participants list on your phone. You would hover over your name and select the 3 little dots in order to do that same process. And Director Browning, I believe, has already dropped the instructions into the chat if you need for how to update your name and pronouns in your Zoom profile. And a little bit about our meeting guidelines. The purpose is to create a safe, positive, and inclusive environment for the commission, participants, staff, as well as the public, creating a safe space for a diversity of contributors, thoughts, and ideas. We ask individuals to assume positive intent on the part of the commissioners, moderators, participants, and staff, and at the same time, own your impact. Do not use transphobic, homophobic, biphobic, misogynist, xenophobic, racist, anti-Black, ableist, ageist, or foul language. Misgendering, name-calling, and insults will not be allowed. We ask individuals to listen actively, allowing others to complete their thoughts, listening to listen and not listening to respond. We ask individuals to default to both and thinking instead of either or thinking. And we'll go ahead and do roll call. So I'll call out your name and please come off mute and share yay, present, something to that effect. Vice Chair Pease.
Present. Good to see everyone.
Thank you. Commissioner Bell. I'll come back. Commissioner Bryan. I'll come back. Commissioner Caballero. I'll come back. Commissioner Deere.
Present.
Wonderful. Hello. Commissioner Doan.
Also present.
Great to see you. Commissioner Dunn. I'll come back. Commissioner Fox.
Present.
Wonderful. Thank you. Commissioner Hollywood.
Present.
Great to see you. Commissioner Kennedy.
Present.
Wonderful. Thanks for being here. Commissioner Martin.
Present.
Wonderful. Commissioner Nira.
Present.
Wonderful. Commissioner Novak,
Present.
great to have you. Commissioner Russell,
Present.
great to have you here. Commissioner Stern,
Here.
thank you so much. Glad to have you. Commissioner Tulin,
Here.
great. Glad that you're here. Commissioner Chung Sun, I'll return. Commissioner Bryan,
Here. Sorry, I'm late.
wonderful. Thanks for joining us. I don't believe anyone else has joined who I'd called. Is that correct, Director Browning?
That's correct. I don't think anybody else has, so I'll monitor if anybody joins throughout the meeting.
Wonderful. Thank you. And then a brief review of our voting procedures. In order to vote, we use either the green check mark, the red X, or to abstain, you would record no vote. Those can be accessed by selecting the React button with a heart on the bottom of your screen. And once you've clicked that, the green check and the red X pop up, as you can see on your screen there. The green check mark reflects yay, the red X reflects nay. All right, and for our first act, we will approve our agenda. The agenda was sent out via email by Director Browning previously, and we do use a consensus
I just realized I think there's one item that's missing that was on
from the agenda.
Yeah, let me just
Great, no
double.
problem.
This was on the agenda that was attached to the calendar invite, but I don't see it on this draft. So let me just double check. Yeah, there should be an update here.
Yes. Thank you so much, Director Browning, for making sure that was added.
And the times are on the other slides for the so I apologize that they're missing here.
No worries. Okay, and for the approval, we'll do by a vote of consensus. And I had mentioned before, the agenda was sent out by Director Browning previously. Were there any, Commissioner Russell?
Thank you, Chair Blender. I just noticed item 10, I think, is a duplicate for the item you just added.
I just saw that too.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Appreciate that. We'll only go over it once.
Looks like it's a little bit out of, sorry, this is just out of order. Sorry about that. Okay.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks for the help. And that's how we have a successful commission, is by assisting one another where possible. Great. Were there any additional comments on the agenda or discussion? Okay, seeing none. Actually, it's been a long week for me. I know it's Monday. Director Browning, can you refresh my memory?
Yeah, so for unanimous consent, you can ask for if there are any changes or additions, and then hearing none, will that the agenda has been approved using unanimous consent.
Wonderful. Thank you for refreshing my memory. Somehow it's a lot going on right now, y'all. Wonderful. Well, hearing none, the agenda has been approved by unanimous consent. And Commissioner Nira, we have seen your message. Great. Sorry to hear about the unstable internet. Appreciate that. And wonderful. Our chair report, vice chair report, and director report are next. For the chair report, I'll keep it brief. I feel like I start, so many of our meetings this way. I don't expect it'll be much different moving forward. It is such intense time. It continues to be intense. The news is not great for us, our community, for the many multiple additional identities that many of us here hold. And then for all of you who are serving our community and or who are providers to our community, you're holding both your own experiences of our broader community, and certainly your patients and clients. So I'm really, really grateful to be sharing space with all of you tonight. I know that this work is very, very difficult and heavy at times. I know so many of us have many wins and many successes for our community members, and then we also are holding a really difficult situations and stories and truths in collaboration, with the individuals that we work with. So I'm just, noting that and noting that when things get very difficult, capacity and the ability to hold it all gets more difficult. So I really appreciate y'all showing up here tonight to hold those difficult truths, and also the positives and the ways that so many people are going out of their way to look out for one another, to find safety and to find connection. So it really feels good to see so many faces, and so many faces who I know are putting in work to both care for hopefully yourselves, and then also so much work caring for others. So I don't have a long chair report other than I understand just the exhaustion that comes from these nonstop attacks on our communities, and just noting how grateful I am to be working with you all and to have spaces like these where we can come together and connect and do such important work in service of our community. So I'm thankful and grateful. Glad to see you all. I know it's just really rough right now, and it doesn't look like that we're gonna get big breaks. But I think that there have always been and will continue to be the biggest of breaks when we have people like you all who are dedicating time, energy, and effort in concert with so many other people in order to take care of those members of our community that we love and care about. So thank you again for being here, and I will turn it over to Vice Chair Pease for their Vice Chair report.
Thank you so much. Hello, everyone, dear friends and colleagues. I apologize for not having my camera on this evening. Unfortunately, I have a bit of a headache the first year of the first week of the academic semester, how it is a bit stressful. And so, yeah. But I'm really grateful to be here, seconding everything that Chair Blinder said, for your community, for your company, for your kindness and compassion and the ways that you show it to us here and to the communities that you serve. I'll briefly just share one piece of tangible report or update, which is that in collaboration with Trans Maryland, we have finished the series of reports that we were working on developing from the Maryland Trans Survey. So data collected back in 2023. We've released a total of, I believe, 5 reports over the summer on a variety of topics, including housing, gender-affirming hormone care, disability, violence experiences, and health insurance since June. And so I invite you all to use the link there. It takes you to a repository at the University of Maryland where you can find these reports for your own reference in your work, and know that I am here to answer any questions that you may have on that research, serve as a source of support, consultation, community, or otherwise around some of the work you're doing. So if I can support in any way, please let me know. Thank you all again, as always, for your leadership and your presence here. It means so much to me, and I know to our communities in this of all times. So with that, I will pass it to Director Browning.
So hello, everyone. And again, I want to echo what Chair Blinder and Vice Chair Pease said, that I know it's an incredibly difficult time. I have a brief report here. So from the strategic planning retreat, we talked about creating a communications working group. So that meeting is scheduled for September 16th from 6 to 7 p.m. via Zoom. If you didn't reach out via email and you're interested in attending, even if you can't attend that meeting, please follow up with me so I can add you to those emails. Again, that work group is going to focus on looking at a comm strategy, communications policy. How do we take into account limited capacity and our goals that we're trying to reach with our communications, and also looking at how we might go about looking at like logo and branding. Commissioner Bryan?
Thank you. Would you repeat the date and time of that meeting?
Yes, it's September 16th
Uh-huh.
at 6 to 7 p.m. And
Okay.
if you're interested in attending, I can add you to the invite.
Thank you.
The next thing is just a reminder that our next commission meeting is on November 10th from 6 to 8 p.m. That's our last regular commission meeting of the year. I also want to recognize Tika Torres, who has been attending meetings, who is appointed effective October 1st. So thanks for showing up and joining, and we look forward to having you as a voting member at our next meeting. So I also wanted to just remind folks that the calendar has all of the fall Pride celebrations. So we hope to have a presence at all of those. I think there are a few dates where there's a couple on one day. There's also going to be a hate bias forum. There's going to be 2 hate bias forums with the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights and Office of the Attorney General that I realize are not on this calendar yet. One is the Midshore on Saturday, September 20th at Chesapeake College, and then the others on October 11th at Warwick College in Salisbury, Maryland. And those are hate bias forums that are put on by the Maryland Commission on Civil Rights and the Office of the Attorney General. And then, but yes, if you are planning on attending any of the Pride celebrations and you'd like to represent the commission, please let me know. We are offering again the Pride celebration certificate from the commission that commissioners can present. And just a quick review of the mandates. I know we talked about this a lot at the strategic planning retreat, so this is just a reminder. I'm not going to go over them. But essentially, our mandate is to assess the challenges and make recommendations. And that's what our primary focus is. And with all of our committee meetings and commission meetings. Just a quick refresher there. And I will hand it back over to Chair Blinder.
Thank you so much, Director Browning. I appreciate that. Now we'll have our approval of our previous meeting minutes, both of those for the regular commission meeting scheduled for May 12th, and then the commission meeting for our strategic planning session were sent out via email to you in advance of this meeting. I want to call, we'll start with I think we can do both at the same time, Director Browning. Would that be correct? Do you recall?
Yep, you can vote on them as a slate. If there are no changes, we probably want to do them one at a time.
Wonderful. Were there any discussion or comments about the meeting minutes for those 2 dates? Okay, seeing none, they have been approved then via unanimous consent. And we can go ahead and move to our next slide. Thank you for preparing those, Director Browning. And next up is an update on our community needs assessment. I will turn things over to Commissioner Hollywood for this section.
Thank you. I really appreciate everyone that's contributed to the survey. So there's been a group of us that were meeting regularly about it. And then thank you for the feedback from everyone. I feel like it's really been a tremendous group effort. As everyone knows, we amended the Washington State survey, made it shorter, more efficient, and better suited to our own needs. The proposal has been put together, so the survey is finalized. The IRB proposal was submitted a week and a half or so ago, so we're just waiting to hear back. And then we'll address whatever concerns they may have and get the final approval and hopefully launch as soon as we can. So I'm hoping that we can launch within the next few weeks. Does anyone have any questions at all about the needs assessment? Oh, I think I was quick.
I'll just make a comment. Commissioner Hollywood's put in a tremendous amount of work on this, as Commissioner Pease and Commissioner Caballero, who's not with us tonight, as well as feedback from several other commissioners. I know Commissioner Nera, Commissioner Stern, Commissioner Russell. I apologize if I missed anybody, but this has definitely been a group effort and something we've been talking about since the commission started. So really excited to see this moving forward.
Absolutely. And again, so much gratitude to Commissioner Hollywood and everyone who put in so much of their time, but particularly to making sure that we're already at this point where it's gone to IRB approval, and a launch date in a few weeks is really significant. So I'm really excited for this. As we all know so well from our work and community, that we can, serve folks and certainly come to conclusions, but through all of those many contacts. But data is so urgent and critical in order to make sure that we can back up our policy asks. So very excited for the community needs assessment to move forward. Wonderful. And then next up, we have a discussion about our 2026 preliminary legislative priorities. I'll turn things over just to start to Director Browning.
Yes, so I'm happy to share this. Everything that's on this list is, except for what's highlighted in yellow, were our priorities from last year that did not pass. So these are the same bills that were linked. The items in yellow are additions, things that the policy committee is putting forward for us to consider adding to next year's policy priorities. So they are just the sections that are highlighted in yellow. Everything else, these are the bills that were introduced in the 2025 session. So the first section, favorable, obviously we're going to continue pushing for these to be passed, and unfavorable, we will push for them to not be passed. The ending child marriage, that was a proposal that was brought to us a few months ago. There, to my knowledge, a sponsor has not been identified yet, so we don't know if that will be introduced or not. That's why it's under bills to watch. So that is just a quick summary of what you're looking at here. And I'm happy to go over any of the additions if that's helpful. Commissioner Hollywood?
Do we have any sense of how many of these bills are likely to be reintroduced?
Just based on last year, almost all of the bills that were introduced in 2024 were reintroduced in 2025. Where it's actually differed was with the bills that we found would be harmful to the community.
Mhm.
And I think they kind of take them and like repackage them as something else. Like there was a few, I can't remember which ones at this point, but I was like, oh, that looks like a different version of the same bill that they introduced last year, but it has a different name. So I think they try to um, rework it in a way that they hope they can move it forward. But I have not been told that any of these bills are not going to be reintroduced. But if they're not, we can always like when we update the list, we can take them off if we need to.
I wonder if we should contact any of the bill sponsors from last year to see if they're sponsoring again.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Commissioner Russell?
Thanks. I just wanted to kind of throw an idea out there. I'm sure that there are probably other commissioners on this meeting that are maybe more knowledgeable in this space. But when I was looking through one of the upcoming documents that we're going to review, the draft statement, excuse me, on federal attacks, and seeing some of the proposed solutions there, particularly around gender affirming care and protecting access to that, reminded me of a law I read about last week that went into effect here in Maryland on June 1st, which essentially protected access to COVID vaccines by requiring insurance carriers to cover any CDC recommended vaccines that were recommended on, I think, 12/31/24 or before. So I was just curious if maybe there was an opportunity for a similar piece of legislation to protect in some way the medical care that our community needs and that is currently under federal attack.
Does anybody know of any legislation like that being put forward? And as the we can look to see if there's something like that, and we can always add it and update it, add it to the list at the November meeting. I know we updated this a couple of times throughout the session, when we had our meetings last session. So, and I see that Commissioner Chung Sun said that they are not aware, but would support it wholeheartedly. And I think, yeah, my sense from knowing this body that would be something that this body would definitely support. So if there are no other questions for me, I will hand it back over to Chair Blinder.
Thank you so much, Director Browning. And I appreciate that excellent question, as well as the reminder, Commissioner Russell, of that legislation passing.
And maybe before we move on, if anybody sees a policy proposal or a bill that the commission should get behind, if you send it to me, I will definitely share it with the policy committee. Unless it's right before a meeting, if there's not time, we can just put it on the on the updated policy list. There's probably lots of bills that go through the session that we would support, and if we don't have the capacity to testify in person, we can very easily create written testimony and make sure that we're on record for supporting that issue. So appreciate you bringing that forward, Commissioner Russell, and I encourage everyone to, if they see stuff, to share it with us.
Wonderful. We can go ahead and move to the next slide. And Commissioner Novak placed a suggestion regarding if you're having trouble with your internet connection and turning off video doesn't work, it is possible to call in.
Chair Blinder, before we move on, did the body want to adopt this as their?
Oh, I apologize. Thank you. Yes, we do have to check in on that. I'm willing to entertain motions to adopt the 2026 preliminary legislative policy priorities.
So move, Commissioner Fox.
Seconded, Hollywood.
Thank you so much, Commissioners Fox and Hollywood. Any further discussion on this issue? Okay, seeing none, we can go ahead and take a vote. As a reminder, to vote, you'll reflect the green X for a yes or yay, the red X for a no or nay, and to abstain, you would select neither. And just a quick reminder that we'll use them, and then I will ask you to clear out your votes afterwards, not yet, but later. So at the moment, we are still in the process of voting.
Looks like for the minutes, all in, or not all in favor. Is there an abstention from Commissioner Deere?
Yes, sorry, my entrance freezing.
Oh no. Are you abstaining or are you, or trying to vote?
I voted yes.
You did vote, okay. Great, we see it now. Okay, I think it has passed unanimously. Just a quick request, if everyone can go ahead and clear out their votes, that way we'll be ready for any future votes. That would be wonderful. So thank you so much for your help. And we're looking good. If Commissioner Fox, you, and then also Commissioner Chumson can clear out your votes, that would be wonderful. The next up, we have our discussion, the sign-on letter for the People's Declaration. And Director Browning has dropped a link to that into the chat. And it was also sent out via email. And I'll turn that one over to Commissioner Deere for a discussion.
Hi, everyone. So I'm going to keep my camera off too. My internet is freezing a lot. The People's Declaration form, if you haven't read it, that's okay. I'm going to provide a brief Cliff Note version as well. This letter was initiated by AIDS Action Baltimore. And really what we're asking here is that as a commission, we vote to support this letter. So support and signing this letter as a commission. So why this statement, the People's Declaration, exists? This was originated and initiated as a response to harmful funding and policy decisions arising from recent unscientific and indiscriminate cuts to the U.S. HIV research portfolio. And also the discourse to date has focused on financial losses, grants, institutions, but the communities most affected have not been centered. It also reframes sort of the conversation from dollars to humans, the people who are directly impacted by these cuts. Also talks about assertion of community rights and representation, where it invokes the Denver Principles, which emphasizes self-determination and meaningful involvement of people living with HIV in decisions affecting their lives. And it also reminds policymakers and researchers that people, not politics, publication, or funding, must be at the center of HIV research. It also emphasizes on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and really highlights that DEI is not optional, but foundational to effective HIV research, and really brings about the communities that are most affected, especially BIPOC, LGBTQI+, women, people who use drugs, who are disproportionately affected by HIV, should be at the center of research efforts. And also, this letter is also a response to the politicization of science. So really, with this letter, the intent was to demand meaningful community inclusion at all stages when we think about research design, study implementation, dissemination of results, and call for DEI in research teams and participant recruitment. Also uphold ethical and scientific standards, mobilize advocacy and political action. Also, again, reassert that human-centered focus on HIV research is super important, and investing in high-impact communities benefits everyone because controlling HIV in key population reduces overall transmission. So that's pretty much the gist of this letter that we're hoping to support as a commission.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Deere. Are there, I guess, any questions that folks have?
Yeah.
For Commissioner Deere or any of the folks who have worked on reviewing this? Commissioner Russell.
Thank you. I'm sorry, I may have missed it, but is there an organization or a government body, like where is this letter being submitted to, or who is it being submitted to? Or is it just being like published as kind of a statement with signatories?
I'm happy to jump in. It's really drafted as like a coalition open sign-on letter. So it's essentially, I think it has nearly like 400 signatories now. There are individuals, there are organizations. So I think it's essentially, if you agree with the sentiment that's in the letter, would you sign it? But I think it's intentional that it does not have a like one author, because they wanted it to be kind of like a coalition letter, that this is coming from all the signatories.
Okay, thank you.
Wonderful. I would be willing to entertain any motions to sign on for the commission.
This is Lisa and Jen. I so move.
Wonderful. And then,
A second.
great. I'm opening things up for discussion. Commissioner Neera.
In following up to what Director Browning was saying, is that understanding this is a coalition letter, is there a lead organization? Because what's the communication strategy behind the letter?
It's AIDS. The lead organization is AIDS Action Baltimore, from where it came from, right, Dr. Browning?
So they were sharing it, encouraging people to sign on, but they're not the author of the letter. But it's been shared, broadly. But if we, wanted to see sort of like who is behind the, putting together like the Google form or something, if we, we can try to look that up, but it's not readily available.
It says under who we are. I guess it's like you said, it's a letter from people from the community, allies, people living with HIV, maybe perhaps not people from one particular organization. And it's supported by AIDS Action Baltimore, and they're sort of, I think they sent it out to everybody.
Yeah, I guess just, so I understand that there's no like single author. My question goes to more is, well, okay, we sign on to this as our commission. What's the communication strategy? Which audience is this going to? How is it going to be used? And by whom?
So I think my understanding is that it's a public facing letter. So it could be noticed by government officials, federal officials, as more people sign on. It will be advertised, I guess, everywhere. It'll be shared among, as over 400 people have signed. That's what I understand from it. That it's a public facing letter, can be shared, can be visible to anybody, everyone, as a statement, as an advocacy policy, whatever you want to call it. So I didn't answer your exact question, but I don't have those exact details.
We could, if the commission does agree to sign on, we could copy and paste the letter saying that the commission voted to sign on this at this meeting, and then also link to the page so they can see the current list of signatories, and put it on our homepage with the rest of our publications.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Russell?
Yes, thank you. I did have one other question. I just thought of it when Commissioner Deere was saying that this is a public facing letter. Does this live elsewhere, like on a website somewhere, or is this link that we have like the only way to access the letter?
I would have to check the AIDS Action Baltimore email to see if it's actually on a website, versus anything else.
Okay, well, I'm not seeing any further discussion. We can go ahead and place a vote. To review, our voting procedure is to select a green check mark to vote to sign on to the People's Declaration, or a red X for a no or nay vote. To abstain, you would select no. No answers. Okay, so we have, go ahead, Director Browning.
While folks are finishing up voting, just for the minutes, can you remind me, I had Commissioner Chung Sun with the first, and then who was the second for this? Was it?
It was Commissioner Bryan.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we have 2 nay votes, Commissioner Russell and Commissioner Nira. And then I was looking for any abstentions, but I don't think we had any. All right, wonderful. This has passed and we will be signing on. Can move to our next item. So next, the discussion is on our statement on the federal attacks. And I will turn it over, I think, to begin to Director Browning. Is that correct?
Yes. So I'm happy to just kind of give like a little introduction. So this is the first time we actually had 2 committees wanting to put out statements. So the policy committee was working on putting out an updated statement. Our last statement on the federal tax was at the March meeting on March 10th. So they were attempting to update it. There was certainly broad issues there that spanned pretty much all of the committees. And then the Health and Wellness Committee had also discussed put together a draft statement. So I attempted to combine those statements, which is the draft statement that was sent out on Friday. I included the draft statement from the Health and Wellness Committee for reference. I know that Chair Deere of the Health and Wellness Committee meeting was traveling last week and didn't have a chance to look at things until today, and presented a like pared down version of that statement, which I shared this evening. So I know that so now you have 3 documents that you were probably looking at. So I wanted to make sure that the commission saw all the proposals that were made and can decide on what statement they would like to put forward. I know we have, it's 6:50, so we're a bit ahead of schedule on the meeting. So that's kind of an overview of how the statements came to be and what you're looking at. In terms of how the commission would like to move forward on a statement, I will leave that to you all to decide. But happy to answer any questions about the statements or direct to the commissioners or committee that drafted them.
I'm going to add to what Director Browning said. The 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 very third one, the toned down version that I shared is basically Commissioner Nira did a fantastic job, creating a very good statement on the problem and the solutions. I had cut it down. I edited it because just for accessibility, because I think this is going to be on on our website for general public to read as well. So I just wanted to change some of the language and draft around legalistic language, which might be good for policy audiences, but might be too dense for general public. So I simplified some of the language and balanced some of the urgency with affirmations of Maryland's resilience and leadership, and also converted some things in paragraphs and bullet points. So it's easy to sort of, when people are reading it, they're sticking with it and reading through it rather than, zoning out. And it was a little more brief than the second draft you may see. So it's essentially what Commissioner provided. I just made it a little more brief. And the very first one was is that the one you shared, Dr. Browning, as well? The very first one I did, which was a very brief statement, which Commissioner added on and really expanded a lot, which was awesome.
So there was I shared the version from the Health and Wellness Committee meeting and the meeting materials that I shared before the meeting, but that's not what the two that I shared in the chat just now. The first one that just says draft, that one was the combined version of the policy committee statement and the Health and Wellness Committee statement. And then the one that's version 2 is the sort of pared down, I guess, combo of the two.
Got it. No, that's good.
Commissioner Bryan?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure Jeremy and Taylor saw some suggestions I put in really late this evening.
I haven't had a chance to look through them, but I did see them on there. I know kind of working on these statements in a meeting with can be tricky. So maybe I may suggest that the body decide kind of, do they want the more detailed one or the pared down version first, and then we can discuss like sort of the smaller edits. That might be a way to tackle this.
I appreciate that suggestion, Director Browning. I'll entertain motions on selecting either the more detailed or the pared down version. So if we were to use the titles that they have, the draft statement on the federal attacks on LGBTQI plus Marylanders for 9/8/2025, or version 2 draft statement on the federal attacks on LGBTQI plus Marylanders for 9/8/2025. And version 2 being up on the screen right now.
I move that we use version 2, the draft statement and call to action on the ongoing federal attacks on LGBTQIA Marylanders.
I second.
Okay, any other?
Here's where I put my comments.
Thank you so much, Commissioners Russell and Bryan. And I'll entertain discussion at this time. Commissioner Russell.
Thank you. Just wanted to say that I appreciate everyone's efforts on both versions of the statement, and that I do think the readability in a shortened version is, a little more actionable for folks. We had a similar discussion in the Youth and Education Committee meeting recently about a document we were working on there, trying to make it impactful while also actionable, and where people can easily pull out information or recommendations that can be used. So anyway, just wanted to offer that, and again express my thanks for the efforts involved.
Appreciate that, Commissioner Russell. Before I go to Commissioner Neera, I want to ask, thank you for the reminder, Director Browning. We have a few folks that still have votes reflected. Commissioner Martin, Commissioner Chung-Sun, if you can clear out your votes, please. And then Commissioner Neera, the floor is yours.
Join in thanking everybody that's worked on this on the commission. It's definitely a group effort. The one comment I'd make just on page 3, that the section where we're talking about fighting moral injury and uphold values, respectfully offered it, it's avoiding moral injury and upholding values. And the moral injury comes when you know what the right thing to do is and you can't do it, or you don't do it. And the way you avoid that is by doing the right thing. So that's what I would offer for just clarifying that one section, and concur with using something that's maybe a little bit more actionable for a broader audience.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for that insight and for clarification. Commissioner Chung-Sun, can you please clear out your vote from last time?
Sorry.
Thank you so much.
I just had a quick follow-up question.
Go ahead, Director Browning.
Commissioner Nira, were you suggesting that instead of fight, we say avoid moral injury? Is that the edit?
Actually, just say uphold values.
Oh, okay. So just take that.
That may be the easiest way to address that.
Okay, not seeing any further discussion, we can go ahead and reflect our vote. And the vote would be to adopt this version 2 draft statement on the federal tax on LGBTQIA+ Marylanders. That is the title of the document. And then when we're looking at the document, it is version 2 statement and call to action on the ongoing federal tax on LGBTQIA+ Marylanders. We would like to adopt that as the commission. And to adopt, you will select the green check mark to reflect a yay or yes vote, the red X to reflect a no or nay vote, and select neither to abstain.
Come on, Pete, I'm having an issue that I can't select to react. I vote aye.
You vote what?
Aye, in favor.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you so much. And then I think we're only missing Commissioner Chung-Sun. Okay. Wonderful. This is passed unanimously. Understood, Commissioner Chung-Sun. Appreciate everyone working together to collaborate on a collaborative statement that works for our purposes and is offering clarity. And if folks will also do me the favor of going ahead and removing your votes so we have a clean slate in case anything comes up. Appreciate that. And we are quite ahead of schedule, which might be helpful for any of us who are feeling a little tired. So now is our open forum for any announcements or comments. This is a time when the public could place a comment. I also did want to mention this is a great time if you have a Pride event coming up to please raise your hand so we can call on you to invite everyone to attend that or to highlight your event. Commissioner Tulin.
Hey everyone, this is just a reminder that Annapolis Pride is coming up on October 18th. It had to be rescheduled after storms this summer, so we're very excited to celebrate during LGBTQ History Month. And we also are not conflicting with any other prides this time, which is great. And then I did have a question maybe for the group, and I don't know if we've talked about this before, but I've been asked to meet with one of our state senators who I think has not always been the most supportive of the LGBTQ plus community. And I'm, happy to take the meeting in a personal capacity, but wanted to find out, is there any guidance for that? Do people want me to necessarily like represent the commission or just go in my personal capacity? Just looking for like a little bit of clarity there, and guidance if anybody has it.
I'm happy to speak to that, Chair Blender, if you like. I know that our policy chair is not here, but I think we want to make sure that whenever this kind of is the same, I think for when speaking to the media or something like that, we want to make sure we're speaking with a unified voice. So I would say it's probably best to approach it from your personal capacity, and that when, the policy committee is working on setting up meetings with legislators. We can, if anybody's interested in meeting with folks and they want to do it on behalf of the commission, we can certainly do that. We should just channel it through the policy committee so we know, everyone knows what's going on. But all of you, are welcome to meet with your legislators in your districts in your own capacities, and encourage you to do that. And if they have questions about the commission, you're welcome to refer them to our public-facing documents or the policy committee, Chair Blender, or myself.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Tulin. Director Running, I put this in the chat, but I know you're otherwise occupied. I was going to see if you might be willing to turn off the slideshow so that we all might see one another. Commissioner Doan.
I just wanted to formally invite everybody to the Upper Chesapeake Bay Pride Festival. We will be hosting our 7th annual festival on Saturday, October 4th from 1 to 6 p.m. An extra hour of fun this year. And as Chair Blender has coined it, Maryland's only waterfront Pride Festival. So we hope you can make it, and we hope the weather is good, and we hope for no protesters.
Sending all of y'all with upcoming prides the best for great weather and no protesters. Commissioner Russell.
Thank you. Yes, so Pride Southern Maryland also has an event coming up in October. It is October 12th from 11 to 4 in Lexington Park in St. Mary's County. We're looking forward to it. It will be our 8th annual event. I believe our 4th year in the same location. So if you are looking for something Pride related to do that weekend, come on down Sunday, October 12th. And we look forward to having you. And I also just wanted to put out there that the ongoing issues with the Calvert County Board of Education, where they are examining their policies and in some cases rescinding policies that have anything to do with DEI related subjects or initiatives. And they also have directed the removal of safe space type stickers a few months ago. Anyway, that situation is ongoing. But it is beginning to get media coverage in the Baltimore, Washington regions that has been, I think, pretty fair about assessing the situation. So the coalition to support inclusivity for everybody, students, staff, etc., is continuing to grow and engage with the Board of Education to hopefully change some minds and maybe some hearts to implement or re-implement policies that support the LGBTQIA plus community in particular. long road ahead, but it is good to see that coalitions are being made to provide some community and strength in that battle ahead.
Thank you so much, Commissioner Russell. And then if folks wanted to get involved or find information about that coalition or the work, that work more generally, how might they do so?
Great question. I would say search out, there are a few indivisible groups, Indivisible Calvert. And yes, I can send that information via email to everyone. Indivisible Calvert is one group. PFLAG Southern Maryland is also continuing to follow. And the Calvert County NAACP is also very involved as well. So I will collect that information and perhaps send it to Director Browning to forward out.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing. And then there was a request from Commissioner Chungson. In the chat.
Yes, I saw that. I will include that information about Pride Southern Maryland as well.
Wonderful. Any last calls for promotion of an event or something that you might like to share? Okay, seeing none, we can move into our last component, which would be closing remarks. And yeah, the closing remarks I have are, I'm really grateful we're going to be able to wrap up a little bit early. I feel like you all are working hard, and I'm really hopeful that folks might be able to take 50 minutes to relax and get some things done for yourself, because so many of you offer so much in service to others and our community. Please continue, as always, to take good care of yourself, because you are also community members. And I know that one is harder to do, but really do encourage doing so. Turn off the news when you can and find the good and wonderful things which are very much occurring and so much a part. And then thanks to all of your hard work. We will see one another at our next commission meeting and at any committee meetings in between, and certainly via email. Thank you all for what you do, and I really appreciate getting to work with each and every one of you. The meeting with the powers that I have is now adjourned.